So this is a major one, okay? And it's very, very important. I want to talk about great thumbnails and the importance of having great thumbnails and also branding them, so let's jump into that topic. Now, like I said, these are super important. A lot of people sleep on the importance of thumbnails, and they're really what will draw the click the most, right? When people are deciding between your course versus other potential courses, this is exactly what they're going to look at. So what do I mean? So if we come to Udemy and we type in Facebook ads, we're looking for a Facebook ads course, right? What do you think is going to sell us based on what are the things that we're going to basically look at to determine which course do we want to buy, right? Well, obviously you're going to look at the ratings. The bestseller tag plays a huge, role in obviously swaying your opinion. But more importantly than the title or anything else, the hours, the levels, the lectures, and how many and whatever else is in there, more importantly than anything, what's going to draw your eye attention is going to be the thumbnail. So don't sleep on the thumbnails. They are exactly what people are going to use to decide on what gets the click, right? They might not necessarily scroll down all the way, and whatever one captures their attention, immediately their eyes are going to go there, and they're going to see, okay, 4.7 ratings, 600 out of 600 ratings, 3 hours long, let me check this one out, right? And then they might not even give another one a chance because this one caught their attention and they clicked on it. That is true on Udemy, that's true on Facebook, or that's true on YouTube as well, and you really should not sleep on your thumbnails, guys. It's super important. Like I said, it's one of the most underrated aspects of creating your course, and one of the things, because I take consulting calls before I ever decided to create this course, I would take consulting calls from people and I'd recommend this business model to them, and then I would go ahead and they might have a consulting call with me later to kind of improve certain things, and also I network with other instructors, and one of the biggest mistakes that I see people make, and I know it's a mistake because I used to make it too, and as soon as I switch this around, like I'm going to show you in this lecture, it has increased my conversion percentage, and it's also increased my revenue on a monthly average, okay? So you don't want to spend a few hours creating a great course and then just slap a stock photo up as your thumbnail. Okay, now I see this across the board, and if you literally just go look around on Udemy, or even, like any topic, doesn't really matter. You look around on Udemy and you'll see stock photo after stock photo after stock photo after stock photo. And people spend hours creating this really in-depth great course, and then they don't care about their thumbnail. They just want to get the course up and running. And that is the stupidest thing that you could do. So don't spend a few hours creating a great course only to slap up a stock photo, a photo that you found on Google or a photo that you found on a stock photo site, because there's no differentiation there. And you really should be focused on improving your course thumbnail so that you can draw attention. Off the top of my head, I know firsthand that if you can add something that's relatable, so like if you're creating like an eBay course, right? Now, one of the things that we're going to talk about in the next lecture is you can't actually add wording, but what you can do is add a symbol. That will also help convert people a lot more if they see the eBay logo or the eBay symbol, knowing full-heartedly that it's an eBay course. Another great thing that you can do to increase conversions is simply add vibrant and light colors, right? Brighter colors tend to convert people a lot better than darker colors. Now, there's a number of different ways that you can basically increase conversion rates on your thumbnails, but the simplest way is just to actually put a little bit of effort into a thumbnail, and I'm going to run you through how to do that here and also brand them, okay? So also, one more thing I wanted to touch on is you risk that other courses are going to have that exact thumbnail too. So if, for example, just to kind of go back, let's go to Google really fast, right? This is the two main ways that people that make this mistake get these course thumbnails. So we'll pull up Google, and maybe I'm looking for like a social media marketing course or social media marketing thumbnail. So I'm thinking, okay, how do I get a picture for social media marketing? So I'm going to come to Google and I'm going to type in social media marketing, go to images and see which one pops up and pick an image. The issue with that is 99.9% of the other people that are making a social media marketing course are going to do the same exact thing, and then you run the risk of throwing up one of these images as your course thumbnail, and they're going to potentially do the same. And I've seen so many examples of people with similar thumbnails, like someone grabbed this image, and then someone grabbed this image, and then someone grabbed this image and also threw something on top of it, and then someone grabbed this image and also had like a symbol there, and it's like there's no differentiation there, and it looks terrible. And if a customer sees that they're all very, very similar like that, they're probably not going to pick any of them. So another example of how people do this is they go to like Pexels or like Pixabay or any stock photo site, right? And stock photo sites mean it's just like high quality images where nobody actually owns the rights and you can use them. So what they're going to do is they're going to go social media marketing, thinking that they got one leg up on the competition because they went to a stock photo site, which is not the case at all. And the same thing goes. 99.9% of people that come to any of these sites and type in that or something similar are going to pull up very, very similar images. Now you might think, oh, these are high quality, I want to use one for my course thumbnail. And you can use these images. It's not what I'm saying, but what I am saying is don't just slap a photo up like this as your course thumbnail and think that you're done. Because why would you spend, it makes no sense whatsoever. Why would you spend hours and hours and hours creating a great piece of content and a great course just to spend about 10 seconds or 5 minutes on finding a thumbnail, right? You don't want to. This is what's going to convert people the most when they're deciding between your course and another course, okay? So your thumbnail is arguably what will sell your course the most. We've touched on that. That is a fact. It's what generates interest and it's what grabs eyes and eyeballs when your course competes with others against other courses, right? So I showed you the example. It's the same rings true on YouTube as well. But if I go back, like, let's type in another example right here, okay? And we'll just run a test and see which one pops up to us. So let's go cooking, random example. Which one pops up to me immediately? I kind of like this one because it's bright and it's got a bunch of different colors. That one pops up, but I'd probably go something closer up here. Now, this one is a pretty good image, don't get me wrong, but actually, I kind of like this one. I like this one. It's got different colors. It looks like it's got good ingredients, and there's nothing necessarily wrong with this one or this one at all, but this is just the one that stuck out to me, right? And so it's a bestseller that happens to also sway me a little bit. So it just, obviously it's subjective and it's going to depend on person to person and what sticks out to their eyes, but it's one of the best things if somebody were to just go to, let's find an example of one right here. So this is probably a stock image that somebody literally just threw up. It's a fairly new course. I bet you we can find this image really fast if we search for it. So what I did is I basically downloaded the image. We're going to find out if we can find it on Google or wherever. I bet you this person just literally typed something in Google and boom, there it is in Google. Visually similar images. Now, what is this titled as? It looks like Comer en la noche, so eating in the night. That's weird because isn't that a morning food? And boom. So chances are they literally just found this on Google as a stock photo. They might have came in and typed in cooking or food or whatever it is, but the idea is anybody can find this image and anybody can grab it, and there's no differentiation there, okay? So the next thing that I want to talk about that's super important is branding your thumbnails. Now, we will get into branding your thumbnails in the actual next lecture. I have an entire, not the next lecture, the next slide. I have an entire slide dedicated to it because it's super, super crucial and is literally the number one thing that I attribute to increasing my conversion rates and increasing my overall revenue from past and current students. So keep in mind, too, that you can't use words in any of your thumbnails. There's some thumbnails that for whatever reason they let you go with the words, but general rule of thumb, you can't use words. Instead, you can use logos though, and you can use symbols. So like I said, to give you an example, that can immediately identify what a course is about. If you're creating a course on eBay and you have the eBay logo in there, well, chances are people are going to know that that's an eBay course, right? Same thing with like Amazon, or same thing with like Poshmark. These are all examples of e-commerce platforms where if you look at some of my courses here, Amazon logo, people know that that's an Amazon course. That's Shopify. That shouldn't, I don't know why, for just for reference, that they let me get away with this thumbnail. That was one of the first courses I ever created, and they let me get away with it, but chances are you probably won't. Amazon thumbnail, Poshmark symbol, Instagram symbol. So you get the picture. There's an example of an eBay symbol, right? So you get the picture. If you use symbols and kind of logos, you can get around that with kind of a little bit of ingenuity. So another little tip that I want to get across. So let's say that you're creating a good thumbnail, whether you're creating it in Photoshop or Canva or whatever you're gonna do. And to give you an example, if I pull up Canva really fast, which is just a free kind of like a free image creator. And let's say hypothetically that I was going to save a thumbnail as like this. This is like something from a YouTube video that I did a while ago, right? So what I was saving this as is like, I forget what it was about. It was about like, not getting distracted in business, right? Because this dude's getting distracted and he has a girlfriend, right? So the whole thing was like, don't get distracted in business. I forget the exact, topic of the thing. So instead of saving this as B or just like course thumbnail, right? What you want to do is you want to actually name it your course title in this specific example and also your course subtitle. So what that will do is it will help you rank more in metadata by saving the course thumbnail as your keywords and your niche. What you can basically do is also increase your SEO, because what Udemy is going to do to index your course is, guess what? They're going to take, like we talked about before, the title to find keywords and index it on certain topics. They're going to take the subtitle to do the same thing. They're also going to take the description, and they're also going to take the bullet points that you list on that other page that we talked about, where it's like, what ideal student and what are they going to learn. Also, they're going to take the thumbnail and what the thumbnail's saved as. So if you save this as course thumbnail, they're going to have no idea what it's actually about topic-wise. But if you give it a little bit of SEO by adding a little bit of metadata into the title, you could save this as like, let's say you're creating an eBay dropshipping course, right? Maybe I would say like eBay dropshipping dash the best way to dropship in 2019, make money online with no inventory needed. Boom. And don't you think that this is going to help me rank a little bit higher in search? It might not be a ridiculous amount, but metadata is a factor. Google uses it, YouTube uses it, Facebook uses it, Instagram uses it, everybody uses it. Udemy definitely uses it as well, especially on YouTube. This is important as well with your thumbnails. So give them all the information that you possibly can when you save your thumbnail, and literally in your description and everything else. So like I said, little tip there for you to increase your SEO. Save your thumbnail to help give you more metadata, and that will give you, save it as your niche or your topic. And what I basically do is I save it as my title and also my subtitle too. So just main keywords there, and that will give you a boost in rank. Okay. So the next thing you want to do is you want to brand your thumbnails. Now, I've seen people use a PNG picture of their face and just throw it over like another course image. I've also seen them take a full-on picture of themselves and just kind of have like a little image in the side, and that can work as well. But there's a lot of ways that you can brand your thumbnails and a lot of simple ways that you can brand your thumbnails. Now, if we pull up mine, for example, what do you notice about all of my course thumbnails? Right? They have that the two little triangles on the edge and like the orange outline. Now, that's the same, and that's the case for every single one of my courses. And the reason that I create that is, A, it doesn't distract any new students too much. It doesn't turn them off with like a little bit of outside outline. But what it does do is it lets other students, other past and current students know that all of my thumbnails are very, very similar, right? So they might recognize another one of my courses on the site somewhere and potentially take that, right? So you don't want to put off new potential buyers, but you also want your previous students to be able to identify which courses are yours easily. And the reason for that is because you'll get a lot of repeat customers. But if they can't identify or readily easily identify your new thumbnails and your other courses, you're not going to get those repeat customers. You're not going to get those repeat sales. So another thing that people do is current students, for example, are going to, let's say I'm enrolled in Instructor X's course, and I don't know that they have any other courses. I'm just enrolled, right? But I happen to notice that their thumbnail is a certain way, and there's something branded about their thumbnail, and then I go to search for a completely different topic, not expecting to take any more of that instructor's courses, but I happen to know the same branding on one of the thumbnails that I'm basically searching in search results, right? So we type in social media marketing like we went ahead and did, and I happen to notice that instructor is like the third ranked course there, and he's got a branded thumbnail that I recognize. Who do you think that I'm going to choose in that situation? I'm probably more likely to choose the person that I recognize and their branded thumbnail because I'm familiar with that instructor. Much, much, much more likely to pick their course than another instructor that I'm unfamiliar with, right? Assuming that I like their content and their course in the past, right? So that's a really, really great caveat. You'll get a lot of repeat customers and also current students that search for other courses that you potentially offer, or even the other topics that they're interested, will be able to find you, and then they'll buy those courses as well. Okay, so that's a really, really good caveat that you can also do to help you sell more and get repeat customers. But this will only happen if your branding and your thumbnails are easily distinguishable. Like I said, this is a perfect example of a really, really simple way to do it. Guess what? Every single time somebody sees that little design, they're going to know that that's my course, right? And that's going to slowly train them that if they're picking between other courses, where they can find my courses, what they look like, and exactly that process, right? And if it is just some random picture, just to kind of throw off, so like if we go back to this, Let's go to the cooking if it's still up. Like this person, for example, right? They're obviously a new instructor. This is a new course. They throw up this picture right here, right? There's nothing necessarily wrong with that other than all the other things that I outlined that could potentially go wrong and is wrong with it. But even this course right here, like unless that's a little branding right there, which I doubt that it is, there's nothing there. So this might be a good example of somebody branding it. They also have like an outline. If that's super random, but I just happen to notice it, it's very similar to mine. So there's nothing branded here. So if this person creates another course, there's nothing to say like this course is the same instructor as this course thumbnail wise. So just keep that in mind. You want to brand your thumbnails. It's going to go a long way to get you more sales and repeat customers.